OKC's defense was the absolute main factor here. It's pretty remarkable how good they are. OKC, Minnesota. I had big expectations coming into this one because that's what you do as a fan heading into an elimination game, heading into a game with these young stars that have a chance to sort of keep their legacy growing or even make their legacy. But no, OKC just walked all over Minnesota, and it was disappointing. Obviously, it was disappointing because you want to see a great game as a fan, as even if you're a Minnesota fan or OKC fan. I feel like you still want to see a great performance, but we just didn't get one. It was pretty much awful from the get go in terms of Minnesota's effort. But I'm going to take the positive swing on it because OKC's defense was the absolute main factor here. It's pretty remarkable how good they are. They're so young. I know age is like such a buzzword when we talk about these things. Like, how many veterans do you have in a lineup? How much experience do they actually have? Some of these guys are so, like, they're 21, 23. I was looking through the stats here and the ages of some of these guys because they're the guys I wanted to talk about, and they're still young. But OKC's defense is just crazy good. Like, they swarm. If an opposition player gets into the post, or if they drive, even if they hold the ball, if they bobble the ball a bit, you've got Cason Wallace, you've got Alex Caruso, you've got Chet, you've got SJ, you've got Dort, you've got Jalen Williams. All these guys just swarm you, and all of them have really quick, clean hands. And as I was watching the game, I was just kind of shaking my head like, it's crazy the amount of steals they get that are clean. They're clean. They're not even like questionable. Minnesota obviously would be frustrated by this because they're trying to create stuff. You see Ant trying to create stuff with the dribble, and he did it a few times purely because he's obviously a great basketball player. Julius Randle could not get it going. Yo, how about his turnaround, by the way? Just quickly on him. Going from like you're in elite form, people praising you, people being like, okay, this is the Julius Randle that I really like, that is so good on this stage. But then he somehow goes from that elite form to just horrendous form. And horrendous is tough because, look, he had 5 points in game 4. Game 5, the game just happened, 22 points, but it was a blowout. It literally did not matter. Like, nobody's performance in that game, unless it was a crazy one, really mattered. But just amazing how you can wait a few games and then suddenly your form drops off. Suddenly the narrative around you drops off. I find that pretty crazy, pretty remarkable, just sort of watching the ebbs and flows of someone's game. But I guess his defense is what I want to talk about here. It's just so impressive when you see all these words online. You see the commentary team talking about how good the defense actually is. Like, Richard Jefferson was talking about his experiences playing on or against great opposition defenses, or with defenses on it, like good defenders on his team. And he was just saying how good this OKC team is defensively, and that's obviously why they're so good right now. Like, Minnesota just couldn't hang with them. Like, the amount of pressure that they got, they just couldn't score. They scored 9 points in the first quarter. I'm going to quickly talk about that. Some of the OKC defense stats. Like, they're so good. Minnesota scored 9 points in the opening quarter. They didn't even get to double digits in an elimination game, which is just, I don't have any words for it, but it's not good. Let's just put it that way. And they scored 30 at the half. Like, it kind of just shouts out how good they are defensively, how rattled Minnesota were as well. Like, you come into that game, you obviously want to be amped, you want to be pumped, but I don't know, something just didn't click. And it makes me want to talk about 3 guys specifically on OKC defensively. Chet Holmgren. Now, forget defense quickly. He opened that game. He turned that game around on offense to begin with, just his versatility. And I will continue to harp on this because every time I see him play well, every time I see he have these passages, these spurts of play for OKC where he hits a 3, he gets a lob, he gets a block, he grabs a rebound and he pushes the break. Like, he's just so versatile. And to be a 7-footer, 23 years old, that can do all of those things, I just don't understand. I don't understand people that are doubting him. Like, someone's like, is he even the 3rd best player on OKC? Like, is he even that good? But to be that young and that impactful is just crazy. And I love it for him just because I'm a fan of his. And his versatility at the game was awesome. But then defensively, like, he's just smart. And once again, he's 23 years old. But if you can play as smart as he does, he plays a lot older than his current age. And that's why OKC are good. And that's why OKC is kind of like, doesn't matter if they're that young. They're most likely going to win a championship, because I know people are just like looking at this matchup if Indiana advance and be like, okay, so they're going to walk over them just because they're so strong as a team. But Chet, I've talked about his smarts, his athleticism, finished with 22.7 rebounds and 3 blocks as a 23-year-old. Just it's almost like he's unfazed. Like, I know he's had the time off in terms of the injury time, sitting on the sidelines, watching the game from a different lens. Maybe that has helped amazingly. Maybe that has been the difference maker, because he looks pretty calm. There were times during that series where Richard Jefferson, plug him again, was talking about Chet just needing to slow down. Just slow down and like understand the stage of the game, what your role is. But tell you what, the last 2 games especially, closed it out games, have not noticed his age once. Alex Caruso, amazing pickup, because that is why OKC brought him in for Josh Giddey. They didn't need another playmaker. They didn't need another scorer, versatile kind of guy offensively, but they needed that defensively. And Caruso just on this stage, talk about a guy that swarms your post and stuff. It's crazy how many times he just sort of walks away with the ball. Stolen, clean, puts himself in the right positions. That's the main thing I noticed when I watched Alex Caruso defensively, is just he's smart enough, or he's smarter than everyone else, that he kind of he puts himself in these positions, and even when it doesn't go his way, he had a charge. It could have been a charge and it looked like a charge, but he just gets to his spots really quickly. And it's impressive. Even if you don't love defense, or you're not one that normally looks at defense, watch him defensively. It's pretty impressive, and it makes you appreciate that side of the ball. Once again, that's why OKC brought him in, and that's why he's so impactful for them. Now this guy, the next guy, Cason Wallace. I thought to myself during the game, literally put this guy on my team for the next 10 years, because he just does everything right, it seems. Again, this is an ongoing theme. He's 23 years old. These guys are young, but he seems to do everything right. Like, you put him in positions defensively, mainly defensively, he's going to do the right thing, and he's going to make these plays. He's another one that always seems to just rock up with the ball and push it in transition after making a deflection, a steal, a block, just putting his hands up straight. Like, these guys are young people that are just playing smart, and it draws you to him. And that's why I say, just get him on my team for the next years. I would be a happy man. Plus, I compared him to Alex Caruso before, but he basically, to me, has more of an offensive upside than Caruso. He's younger than him, again, the age, but he's just more unpredictable on offense. Athleticism, can kind of get to the rim, can shoot it, struggled a bit. They're going to leave him open, but geez, if we're talking about guys that you'd want for culture in the youth aspect, guys that you just want to set a standard for your club, I feel like you can't look past someone like him. And he's proven he's a winner already. It doesn't matter how many years he's been in the comp, he's already proving he's a winner. Did I say 23? He's 21 years old, and he can be trusted on this stage. Just impressive. He's just so steady for a 21-year-old guard. That's enough of defense. That's enough of OKC. I'm going to quickly touch on Anthony Edwards, because this time last year we had the Anthony Edwards face of the league conversation. Is he good enough? Is he the next face of the league? Is he going to become that if he's not already? And last year I think it was definitely in the mode of like, hey, this is cool, this is new, this is exciting, this is shiny. But now it's kind of like we've seen that. We've been there, we've done that. We can take a deep breath and be like, hey, who is actually the next face of the league? And I don't think Anthony Edwards is there just yet. And I think that's fine. And once again, age. He's 23 years old. It's fine if he's not at the stage to take the leap of being the next face of the league, or to just carry a playoff team by himself. It's completely fine if he's not at that stage. That's not even a knock on him. It's just basically saying let's chill and let's calm the brakes on calling him the next face of the league. And I really like him. I like his attitude. He's obviously got that swagger. He's marketable. You can promo him. He's got the highlights. He's got everything. But maybe he's just not there yet. And that's fine. You have to look at the older guys as the face of the league. I think Rachel Nichols was talking about that today as well. She was talking about that you can't even look at these guys yet. SGA you can, like MVP. He's 26. He's 3 years older than Anthony Edwards. But I think you do have to look at the older people, like Jokic, Giannis, Tatum even. The more proven guys that are going to do it that way as the next face of the league. So I just don't know if Anthony Edwards is there yet, which is all right. The other part was the whole how he represented himself and his franchise today. That sounds full on, but it's basically just saying that was an ugly performance. like super ugly from the get go. They were down 20 at quarter time, 30 at halftime. It did not look good. And the people, the conversation last year, which you loved it or hated it, mostly it was like, let's calm down a little. But people were just like, is Anthony Edwards like a young Michael Jordan? Sounds full on. But it's more like would Michael Jordan, even at a young age, let his team lose like he did, like Anthony Edwards did today. And I don't know, because I didn't watch much MJ when he was 23. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't know. I haven't dug up stats or like watched tape or anything like that. Couldn't tell you. But all people spoke about was Jordan's demeanor and like killer instinct. And even at 23, I feel like he would be like that. And I feel like he would sort of press the issue a bit more in an elimination game. And that's not even saying Anthony Edwards didn't. He did. He was aggressive. He was assertive. Even after taking game 4 when he took like only 5 of 13 shots or something, people were all over him to shoot more and to be aggressive. And they questioned that. But that's not who he was today. He was aggressive. He did that. He just couldn't really get it to drop. He still finished with like 18 or something. But again, it was kind of irrelevant. And you kind of want to see, I would have loved to see, like, even if it meant he was getting angry more, if he was taking on defensive assignments a bit more, which he was. But being like physical and sort of like showing that frustration, I almost think that's what a young Michael Jordan would do. Good conversation to have though. And it's one that's going to keep rearing its head whether you want to talk about it or not. And I've seen people online already kind of sick of that narrative. So maybe this is good for those people. Anthony Edwards isn't there yet, and that's completely fine. But let's see what happens next year and beyond.